Hey everyone, and welcome to another video. So today we're taking a look at some AliExpress Replica Apple Watch bands. So I have actually worked with this particular seller before, and he actually reached out to me and advised me that he's got some new batches of various different types of bands, as you can see from in front of me. Okay, so the seller's not actually selling on AliExpress anymore. So he was previously on AliExpress, but they shut his store down due to complaints from Apple. So this is actually his website. So I'll link this in the description below, and this is where you can actually find all of his products. So if you come to product list, at the moment he has 9 different types of products for the Apple Watch series, and here you can see all the prices as well. So compared to genuine ones, obviously the single loop is £100 from Apple. Here you've got it for $15. Coming down to the Alpine loop, here it's $12.90, and I think that one was also £99 or dollars. Similar thing for this one as well, trail loop. I think this is the only one that was actually cheap. I think this was around £45, and the leather watch band that I show in the video is priced at $24.99. and similar thing for the ocean strap as well. So pricing for all of these I'll list in the video as well, but if you want to purchase anything, then this is the website that you want to go to. I'll see if I can actually get a discount code for you as well. If I can, it will be MATechYoutube, and once again I'll link that in the description below as well. So I do have my Apple Watch Ultra 2 there, and I will be testing all of these with that. Not all of these are specifically designed for that. So as you can see with this one, it is color coded rather than having the silver. So firstly, this watch band that I actually have on is actually also a replica as well. So this one I did order from AliExpress a while back. This is my work band, so this is basically what I use whenever I'm at work, just because it's a lot easier to actually clean with it being silicone. We'll pop that one to the side, and as soon as we've taken the silicone one off, we'll start with the silicone ones. So this is a sort of navy, almost got a green tinge to it, and with these ones you don't actually have, yeah, they've actually done a very good job in terms of cloning the mechanism. On that one, it's literally just a loop that you hook out and you put into the next one. On this one, they've actually managed to replicate the mechanism that they actually use on the genuine ones. Another thing that the seller did actually say was on some of these ones, the Apple ones actually have the sizing ingrained onto the actual bracket. Apparently they've also replicated that as well. So yeah, first thing we'll do is we'll just give this one a shot. And as I say, not all of these are designed for the Ultra, but they may still work. Okay, so straight off, the material feels slightly different. This is actually a lot softer compared to that one. That one's very rigid, and on that one, when I'm at work, I'm using it on number 5, and that's actually in the perfect place for me as well. First impression, so this one is actually a little bit more comfortable. That one's a lot more rigid, which is why I like it for work, because it kind of just stays in position without putting too much pressure on my actual wrist. One of the problems I've noticed with the Ultra 2 is because I was used to the Series 6, 7, and I don't think at the 8, I think I skipped the 8, but they're much lighter. So the difference is more the fact that you've got to strap this weight down, otherwise it does move around quite a bit. In terms of comfort, that's pretty good. Let's just test the actual mechanism, see how easy this is to actually remove. So yeah, they have completely replicated this actual mechanism, so that is pretty good. Straight up, the first one I would say is a pretty good job. I will have links to all of these in the description below, so anybody looking to purchase, I will provide you with the link of the actual seller. So we'll drop that to a side. Next up is the orange. I'm not a fan of the orange color. With the Apple Watch Ultra, a lot of things tend to be with this color scheme. So that slides in nicely. Same with that one. And seeing as the last one was actually already in the correct position, let's try this one. Okay, so this one actually feels slightly tighter on the number 5 setting. I'm not sure if this is a slightly smaller band, but yeah, once again, both of these feel a lot more comfortable than that. That was just a generic purchase that I found on AliExpress. Originally, when the Ultra 2 came out, I just ordered a load of bands, and I've got a big watch band case that's basically overflowing with watch bands. So yeah, that's actually very comfortable. The orange is probably more comfortable than the navy one. This is slightly softer, so it does have more of a give to it. If I just go back to this one doesn't stretch in the same way. It will give, but when I've been wearing this has never felt like it's actually stretching. It's more, it just kind of grips your skin more. The material is very different. So this is a very soft silicone, whereas this is more rigid and probably more prone to lint as well as a result. Right, so next up we have some of the hook and loop bands. These are what I was actually using initially for my work band. I had a original silver and blue, the ones that came out when the Ultra 1 was released, I believe. Now the one thing I don't like about these types of bands, if you put them in at the wrong angle, they can be very difficult to work with. Right, so this isn't the way that I normally like to put it on, but we'll go with it. Now the one good thing about these kind of bands is you have your hook at the bottom there, which actually holds it in place, but because of these loops, you can actually sometimes just tighten it whilst it's already hooked in and then set it that way. I'd say compared to the clones of this, the other clones of this type of band, this is a softer material. Most of these kind of clones, what I generally find is it's quite rigid. So this outer layer B is quite rigid, and then the inside one can almost scratch if you've got it in the wrong position. This feels a bit softer. So straight up, I mean, I'm impressed with the quality of both of these so far. Now, one thing I do always hate about these bands is the fact that when you take them off, they can be prone to actually hit the screen. Now, you shouldn't be able to scratch it, but even still, it's one of those things where it is a bit annoying. Now, one thing I wanted to check was whether or not they have the sizing. So yeah, they do. So this has actually got 49mm just there. They have got the actual sizing on the band itself, and I'm not sure whether the other side is supposed to have the size. No, it also says 49mm just there. Right, so that is quite a large band, even though it doesn't look it. Next up, we'll go for the similar style. I don't think I've got either one of these colors before. So this one, once again, it does also have the sizing just there. This one is a 45mm. Right, and that's what I was saying. So even without tying that, this is already staying. That's not going to actually go anywhere. So as soon as you hook this in, it's just extra secure. This one actually feels slightly rougher. So what I was saying compared to this one, the outside of this is it's just got some sort of different sort of texture. It is still softer than all of the other ones that I've actually got. On initial impressions, it does feel a bit more scratchy. Whether or not that's just the initial production or manufacturing process and it'll wear off after time, who knows. So yeah, this does give you a few more options in terms of colors. So next up, we'll go for the individual one. So we'll go for the leather. So firstly, taking a look at the actual leather. So what do we have here? We have some branding, which I think may just be sizing, and then you've got handmade 1+ made in China, and you have contrasting leather on the back. It does smell like genuine leather. Whether or not it is, I'm not sure. The buckle on this is slightly different. Yeah, so those tiny little fixings there are actually holding in the rest of the clasp. So let's have a look. So this buckle is actually kind of strange. So you don't actually go through the outer loop. You go through the inner one, you hook it in, and then it has, I'm not sure whether this is intentional or not, but it has this to kind of stop it coming out essentially, because that, if you were to rest your arm down, that would be what's actually resting down. So that's the, and it's, yeah, I thought it'd be the lighter shade of leather. It's actually the darker shade. So that's actually not bad, because I think I've got other leather bands. I think I had one from Andar, but I think that would have been the lighter shade. Comfort wise, it's leather, so it's going to be comfortable. It's not as wide as I would have liked. I do prefer wider bands, but in terms of fit, that's probably about where I'd want it. It's not going to move about too much, but it is making contact. So obviously if I do put in my pin, then it will stay in contact with the skin. So all your sensors and everything will work. Right, moving on to the next one. So this is the hook and loop type band. And this was the kind that I actually had previously, and what happened for the failure was these Velcro pads actually came off. That was my fault. I put it in the wash a few too many times, and I got lazy because it was a work band. I used to just chuck it in with my clothes, so I'd put it in the pocket of my clothes. The temperature of the wash eventually made the rubber fail. So I do like these kind of bands because it's so fast to adjust. So you can get whatever position you want, whatever sort of tightness on your wrist you want, but it makes it very, very quick and very, very easy. The fact that it's got this plastic tab here does help. On some of them, it just has the loop. You can pull it from the loop, but the loop also has the last bit of Velcro on it as well. As if you're pulling it from this, it's not actually attached to the Velcro itself. So in theory, that might actually give you a slightly better better result. Comfort wise, this one is about on par with what I'm used to with the other clones in terms of the material softness. Lettering on this one, no, nothing, and the finish on this one is not actually too great either. There is a little bit of the cast. Right, so moving on to the next band, and I do already have one of these, and this one is almost identical. So the difference with this one is we do have sizing. So let me see if I can actually, yeah, so this one's listed as 49mm just there, and it will be the same thing on this side. So this basically matches up exactly. It feels exactly the same as the other one that I've got as well. That one was actually very, very soft, and it was only in this particular color. So I'm not sure whether they use different materials on all of these watch bands. Even when they're the same style, they still have slightly different feel. Okay, this one, it feels a little bit more stretchy as well. So this one actually has a bit more give. So say for example, you were to set it in a certain position and you're working out something, obviously your wrist is going to probably pump up a little. This will actually give a little in the sort of locked off position, whereas the previous ones I've had have been more rigid. They've been more like this, where they don't really have a lot of give. So this is actually slightly different. It's a slight improvement. I'd say I'll probably go about there, just to have it slightly loose, so that way if you move it up or down slightly, it'll move, but it'll also stay in position as well. So yeah, I like this one. This one's a good improvement. Now moving on to the sort of more fun colors. So once again, these ones actually have the plastic buckles rather than the metal ones. Let's go on. So this one is not really stretchy. Got slight give, but not as much as that one there. Comfort wise, it's pretty good. I'm not sure on pricing on any of these. Generally the ones that I purchased, all of the ones that were like this, where they had the plastic rather than the metal, and there's no real give to the actual material, generally they were the cheapest types of bands. I'll have a look and I'll post it all in the description below and give you some sort of an idea in terms of what the pricing is, but generally these are normally your cheapest type of bands, and you'll get the most sort of variations in terms of color with these types of bands as well. They're pretty good. They're very quick to put on, take off. The only thing with these is you do have to be careful with the Velcro peeling up. It shouldn't really do it with just normal wear and tear, but if you do clean your bands regularly, then just go with cooler sort of hand wash them basically. Don't do what I did and chuck them in the washing machine. That's the one thing that will definitely make them fail. The other point of failure is usually this part here. So if you do change them quite often, as you're putting it on and taking it off, that's where they can sometimes fail as well. So where possible, I'd say double up and then try and remove it that way. So that is your blue and orange, and then you have a final blue and orange with the metal bands. And once again, we do have sizing on here, and this is 45mm. This particular material does have a little bit of stretch to it. Yeah, this one, as soon as you put it on, you can tell this is way more stretchy. It's not as much as that one. That one's still probably my favorite out of all of these in terms of comfort, maybe alongside this one. These two weren't bad. This one's pretty good as well. So in terms of just day-to-day wearing, comfort-wise, it's pretty good. I'm not sure on the colour scheme personally. If it was anything other than orange, I probably would have preferred it more. Not a big fan of the orange colour, but it does go with the actual accents on the actual watch itself, so that does kind of make sense. These ones are once again very quick and easy to put on and take off. So that is all of the bands that he actually sent out. He may well have more designs, so I will leave a link in the description that you can go to in order to go to his AliExpress page and check to see what he's got. This particular seller has been around for quite a while, so usually he will get more in, and if that happens, I'll just update the link in the description accordingly. If you want to purchase, if you want to check it out, even if it's just to check pricing and everything, all the details will be in the description below. If you did benefit from this type of video, then I would appreciate if you do subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos, and also give this video a thumbs up as well. It'll help it reach more people and hopefully help more of you guys out. And until the next one, thanks very much for watching.